Shalom to our viewers in InfoLive TV. Joining us today is Yoni Ben-Menachem, General Director of Radio Kol-Israel. Yoni, shalom.
Shalom, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Tell us, please, which is the meaning of Condoleezza Rice's visit to Israel and to the region?
Actually, the main purpose of Condoleezza Rice's visit to the Middle East is concerning mainly the Iranian problem. And Condoleezza Rice came to this region in order to try to form an opposition of the moderate Arab countries that are against Iran and that are more moderate than Iran. We're talking about Egypt, Jordan, and the Saudi Arabia and the other Arab countries in the Gulf. And also she's visiting Israel in order to ask Prime Minister Olmert that Israel will not retaliate against Iran and will not do anything, any military action to prevent Iran from getting the nuclear power, and also trying to give some momentum to the Israeli-Palestinian track, which is, as you know, is frozen after the Hamas government took power. Nothing is happening on this track, and she's trying maybe to find ways to strengthen the power of Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian president.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Syria. In the last few days, there were statements from the Syrian president Bashar al-Assad, who said in 6 months of negotiations with Israel, we can achieve peace. And there were different responses from the Israeli government. But my question is, what should happen for us to say, okay, this is the moment to start to negotiate with Syria?
Bashar al-Assad is playing a very dangerous game, and a double game. On one hand, he is saying moderate declarations that he wants peace with Israel, but at the same time, he is helping terrorist organizations against Israel. He is supporting the Hezbollah, he is supporting the Hamas and Islamic Jihad, where their headquarters are in Damascus.
Mm-hmm.
He is preventing Khaled Mashal from agreeing to the deal with Israel to release prisoners and to release the Israeli kidnapped soldiers Gilad Shalit, and they are taking a very extreme policy against the state of Israel. So this is a double game. If he really wants peace, what is needed is that he should stop immediately all assistance to the terrorist organization, and this will prove that he's serious about peace with Israel.
Mm-hmm. Now in the Palestinian Authority we are seeing chaos and anarchy. How do you see the situation? Obviously it's very bad, but the question is, if it is bad in the Palestinian Authority, the situation, will it be good for Israel?
First of all, no. If there is instability on the Palestinian side, it's not good for Israel. This is for sure, because this creates a lot of tension on the Palestinian side, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and eventually everything will burst against Israel. Of course, this is not good. We are interested as Israelis that our neighbors will have a stable situation and not a state of anarchy, because it's not good for them and not good for us. What will happen there, it's a big problem. I think the situation in Gaza Strip is very, very dangerous, a lot more dangerous than the situation in the West Bank. And in Gaza, if these things will continue, the confrontation between Hamas and Fatah, there is a good possibility that this will lead to a civil war. And this will be very bad for the Palestinians, also very bad for Israel. At the West Bank, the situation is a little bit better, but still there are some ramifications of the situation in Gaza in the West Bank, and also we can see clashes between Fatah and Hamas also in the West Bank, but not at the same extent that they are happening in the Gaza Strip.
After the war in Lebanon, after Ehud Olmert said that the withdrawal from the West Bank, the unilateral withdrawal is out of the agenda, which is the agenda of Ehud Olmert as Prime Minister?
The agenda of Olmert now is clearly to fix the situation in the north. This is the prime agenda, and he said it many times, because the realignment or what we call the convergence plan in the West Bank of the settlement is not an issue now after the war in Lebanon, and actually Olmert took it out of the agenda. So at the top of the agenda now is helping the north of Israel to gain and to return to the same situation as was before the war. This is the prime objective of the Prime Minister, and they are trying. The government is trying to work on it. You know, he needs a lot of money to do that, and this is going to be the main objective in the few coming months.
Yoni Ben-Menachem, Director General of Radio Kol-Israel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for joining us in InfoLive TV.
Thank you.